The next page of Sega Saturn Fan Magazine features a man in a judo outfit in the foreground, in front of the Sega Saturn Fan logo. The page highlights several Sega Saturn titles, including Sakura Wars 2, Burning Rangers, Revolutionary Girl Utena, and Winter Heat. There's also a Sega Dynamic Preview section, game titles like Grandia, Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, Shining Force 2i, Scenario 1, The Giant of the Kingdom, J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, and Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers are also featured. A special New Year's project is mentioned regarding the Sega Saturn in 1998, with a Keyman interview. The issue is marked as number 1, dated January 16, 1998, and priced at 540 yen. Also mentioned are Eve the Lost One and Code R Street. The next page showcases an advert promoting Sega Saturn and several games. It exclaims, "Sega Saturn Shiro!" and features a man holding a scroll. Featured games include Sonic R, described as a high-speed race with Sonic and friends, with 2P versus mode available. Shining Force 2i Scenario 1, The Giant of the Kingdom, highlights its RPG elements and full polygon graphics. Saturn Bomberman Fight offers extreme battles with polygonal characters. Grandia, a cinematic RPG, is also advertised. Machi, which is scheduled for release on January 22, 1998, emphasizes how your actions impact others' lives. Also advertised are the Satacol series, including Enemy Zero, Sword and Sorcery, and Tetris S, available at a reduced price. A 3 Shiro disc present campaign is mentioned, including a demo disc of Sonic R, Shining Force 2i, and Machi with purchases of the Sega Saturn. This page presents the table of contents for a Sega Saturn Fan Magazine issue, dated January 16, 1998. The Sega Dynamic Preview features articles on Sakura Taisen 2, Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, Dragon Force 2, Revolutionary Girl Utena, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, Winter Heat, and Burning Rangers. There's a special report on Eve the Lost One, Sentimental Graffiti, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, Code R, and Machi. The strategy section includes Grandia, Yuno, Shining Force 2i, and Scenario 1, Giant of the Kingdom. The news section highlights upcoming games like Wizardry, Lilgamin Saga, Farland Saga, Prisoner of Ice, The Case Files of Kindaichi, Hoshimi Island, Wizards Harmony 2, Jungle Park, Sankyo Fever, and Simulation Volume 2. The magazine includes reader participation sections and strategies for Sega Touring Car Championship, Sonic R, and RMJ. The page also includes previews of upcoming games and software, including the popular Arcade Hits Now series, and a reader's section called Cornhead Club. The cover features Sigata Sanshiro, and the issue includes a feature on what to expect from Sega Saturn in 1998. The left side of the page features artwork from the game Dukoku Soshite, and lists voice actors such as Miki Nagasawa, Tsumugi Usawa, and others. The bottom also advertises a special package version of the game, with bonus items scheduled for release on February 26, 1998. This page is a Sega Dynamic Preview featuring new information on Sakura Wars 2. It focuses on 3 new characters, showcasing their battle costumes. The article presents screenshots of the characters, revealing their battle expressions, and discussing their unique characteristics, like Lemaine's cool personality and Oriheim's traditional Japanese charm. The page discusses the difference in design between the battle costumes and other members of the Star Division, focusing on the unique boot designs and overall aesthetics. The next page is a spotlight on the Eisenkleid from Sakura Wars 2, detailing the mecha suits of Lenny and Orihime. It explains how the Eisenkleid, built by the German company Neue Gear, differs from the Kubu suits made by Shinku Heavy Industries. While Shinku provides technical assistance for the Spirit Machine development, the Eisenkleids are unique designs, with 3 U-type Spirit Machines. These provide high output by rotating the main engine. The text also differentiates the Kubu and Kubu Custom, noting the Eisenkleid demands high spiritual power from its pilots. There's a mention of powered-up enemy machines from the Kuro Kikai, hinting at increased difficulty in the game. The page includes model images of the Eisenkleid mecha in different colors, and a screenshot of the improved enemy mecha, Wakizashi Kai. This page covers new elements of the simulation part of Sakura Wars 2. It presents strategic battle planning, where players choose from suggestions made by Sakura and Maria. Choice affects enemy and ally placements, and the map. The page also shows how to use 6 command types: move, cancel, attack, defend, info, end turn, and special, leader. It demonstrates using overhead view for better map awareness. A key feature is the leader command, which allows the team leader to alter squad member abilities. Screenshots of battles, dialogue, and the command interface are shown. The reviewer seems positive about the strategic depth added to the game. The next page features the Sega Saturn role-playing game, Panzer Dragoon RPG, known internationally as a Zerol Panzer Dragoon RPG. The page opens with the question, "Where is Kramen?" and introduces the town of Zoa as the place where Edge goes to seek information. Zoa is divided into the Holy District and the Open District, and has a complex situation. Edge hears rumors about Payet, a character who knows about the old century. At the tavern, the page dives into the story. Edge has finished fighting the Kramen fleet, led by Arwen, and a Jezel in the restricted zone where gravity storms swirl. Without knowing Kramen's location, Edge arrives at Zoa, a safe haven where no offensive creatures exist. Edge heads to Georgis, an uncharted territory engulfed in perpetual storms. He faces unknown enemies and must destroy the repair devices maintaining the storms. Within the storms lies the ship Shellkoof, waiting for Edge, possibly containing parts he seeks. The page shows locations such as the current location, a safe point, and the storm itself. It also describes various relics and mysterious enemies encountered in Georgis, such as the lupus enemies that attack fiercely. The existence of the vessel, Shellkoof, within the storm is revealed, containing valuable relics. The character Peshet is introduced, a knowledgeable yet eccentric son of a Zoa influential. The magazine mentions meeting Peshet at the tavern and getting info about the tower in Georgis and the ship parts located there. This page dives into the system and world of Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG. The era is set in the Azel world, a world with lost ancient civilization and biological weapons. The means of movement are mainly aerial and walking. When flying on a dragon, the radar is important, showing enemy encounter rates and lock-on targets. There are also different types of communication within the game, or LCS, where you can investigate. The laser rank affects what objects can be destroyed. When in the city, there are LCS interactions that are near or far depending on the distance to the target. That affects the info you can get or overhear. Also, the items are essential for the journey and are the keys to solving the mysteries. In towns, items can be bought, but some cannot be sold. The items are divided into healing, assistance, and parts. Some examples are bluegrass, yellowgrass, red grass, blue mana, and yellow mana. The page also lists items like a high Vulcan or the Berserk Aid, providing details on their stats and usages. The next page continues the deep dive into Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, focusing on the dragon's transformation abilities, combat mechanics, and status effects. The dragon possesses the unique ability to transform, offering 5 distinct types that influence stats like attack, spirit, defense, and mobility. These types, attack, standard, spirit, defense, and mobility, cater to different playstyles. The player can change the type in battle. The page also shows the different stats for the different types of dragon. Combat is described as real-time, emphasizing the strategic use of shots, homing lasers, and berserks. The dragon's customization and type selection are vital, and a radar system helps players navigate the battlefield. The full-gauge class, a unique attack with high damage, and is also covered. The page details the consumption BP and effects for attack class, spiritual class, defense class, and agility class. The page also highlights the importance of dragon communication and naming, impacting its mood. Finally, the page describes the status effects and attacks with pros and cons and how to counter them. This page is a dynamic preview for Dragon Force 2. The game promises a more refined system than its predecessor, highlighting improvements in gameplay and visuals. The page reveals that each main character in Dragon Force 2 will have a completely unique scenario, a departure from the first game where scenarios eventually merged. Additional features like a deputy system, research institute, and dungeons are teased. The game features 2 types of units that can be mixed. The page also highlights the voice acting cast, which includes Aya Hisakawa, Sailor Moon, Sakura Taisen, and many other notable voice actors. Character designs are by credited to Nobutaru Yuki, known for works such as Record of Lodoss War and Escaflowne, with contributions from Kunio Aoki. The next page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game, Revolutionary Girl Utena. It offers a glimpse into the game's storyline and key scenarios, focusing on Utena's interactions with characters like Tuga Kiryu and Anthy Himemiya. The preview highlights a scene set in the school's Rose Garden greenhouse, where Utena overhears a conversation between Tuga and Aunt Karathy. Screenshots show key moments from this scene. We see Tuga confronting Anthy, and Utena stepping in. The article points out the significance of this scene in understanding the characters' relationships and the game's plot. The development stage of the game and various other details are also mentioned. The voice cast includes famous Vaz. This page continues the coverage of Revolutionary Girl Utena. It delves into a secret meeting of the student council members at the school terrace, focusing on their discussion about a new resident in the East Dorm, possibly Utena. The conversation hints at hidden secrets and a masked ball invitation. The page highlights key scenes, character relationships, and their roles within the game. It explains the significance of locations like the East Dorm and the student council's meeting place, and the unique white uniforms worn by the council members, which are reserved for duels. There is also mention of a mysterious figure known as the End of the World, who orchestrates duels. Additionally, the page includes coverage of pro baseball team Tsukuru, focusing on team management aspects like income, expenses, and TV broadcasting rights. It covers managing finances and the impact of team performance on TV revenue. This page is a preview of Winter Heat for the Sega Saturn, highlighting the original elements added to the console version of the game. The game offers 11 winter sports, including snowboarding, skeleton, and aerial skiing, with the Saturn version adding new modes and events. The page covers the game's various modes, including a faithful arcade port, a mode where you progress through all 11 events, a practice mode for mastering individual events, and a custom competition mode where you can choose your own events. It also details 3 original Saturn events, including snowboarding, skeleton, and aerial skiing, describing the rules and gameplay mechanics for each. The page offers a look at the graphics and gameplay. The next page showcases 5 additional sporting events featured in the Sega Saturn game, Winter Heat. It highlights the arcade-perfect port of speed skiing, where players navigate steep slopes at high speeds and compete against each other in Winter Heat. Short-track speed skating, involving 4 players racing simultaneously, with the rules of Winter Heat, including bonus points based on ranking. Downhill skiing focuses on alpine skiing, with speeds reaching up to 130 km per hour, and bobsleigh, a fast-paced sledding event where quick starts are key. Lastly, cross-country skiing, showcasing both classic and freestyle techniques, demanding stamina management. The page also features character art for Burning Rangers. Characters Tillis, Xiao, Big, Lead, and Chris. The tagline reads, "We're gonna make it all right, chasing the wind and continuing to run." It shows a rescue team is next on the scene. The page also includes details such as the planned release date, developer, price, genre, and age rating. This page focuses on Burning Rangers and teases the game's story. It starts by introducing the underwater facility, Aquaspool in Corau, which has research facilities and aquariums. A fire breaks out, and the Burning Rangers are called in to rescue the 30 remaining people. The leader, Chris, tasks Xiao and Tillis with the mission. The page features a glimpse into Stage 2, set in a marine park, and the challenges of navigating underwater environments. A boss fight against a giant fish is teased, along with screenshots from the game. There are also comments on the opening movie and its theme song, Hikari version. There is a section that discusses the characters Xiao and Tillis with the dolphins, hinting at the cause of the disaster. The Burning Rangers team members are on hand like Big and Lead, and they are determined to save everyone. The next page delves into Eve the Lost One, highlighting the connection to the previous game and the intricate relationships between characters. The story involves the Elsedia Republic and Princess Prisia. The article reveals that characters and plot points from the previous game are intertwined with the new storyline. Princess Prisia, who played a key role in the previous game, returns, And the setting is now 3 years later. We are introduced to Princess Prisia of the Lydia Republic, who ascended to the throne at 18 and is now 21, actively implementing reforms. She faces criticism and opposition from supporters of the old regime. The article mentions that the storyline is directly linked to the previous game, with Prisia's appearance signifying an important connection. There are a few character design sheets. The background art showcases the Lydia Republic, with rounded rooftops reminiscent of Middle Eastern architecture. This page introduces characters from the world of the Lydia Republic. Princess Prisia's reforms are dividing the country, with the Basquiat faction, led by Bishop Romeos, opposing her. We're introduced to Mina, an Elpodian student studying abroad in Japan. She's patriotic and loyal to Prisia. Other characters include Luca, a strong-willed owner of an old hotel who supports the Basquiat faction, and Ivu Za Lostwan, a gardener at the royal palace. The next page provides an overview of the relationships between characters and organizations in Eve the Lost One. It introduces a new protagonist, rookie investigator Kyoko Kirino, who gets caught up in a bombing incident on her first day and is later assigned to investigate the death of researcher Yasuo Seno at the Nozomi Biology Research Institute. The other protagonist is the bomber known as Snake, whose identity is a mystery. The page touches on the Lydia Republic and its connections to the story, highlighting that Kyoko will travel there. It features a diagram outlining relationships between the Internal Affairs Office, Nozomi Biology Research Institute, and the Althea Corporation. Key figures mentioned include Marina Hojo, Kohei Kabuto, and Yoichi Miki. Also introduced are various characters associated with the Althea Corporation, such as President Kaiko Kudo, her daughter Reina Kudo, and employees Koji Sakuba and Natsumi Suzuta. The Nozomi Biology Research Institute personnel include Director Masao Mochizuki, graduate student Ayano Sakai, and Koichi Eda. This page focuses on Sentimental Graffiti, a game where you revisit 12 cities to reconnect with heroines. The page details 6 main actions for the protagonist: checking profiles, traveling, working part-time jobs, making phone calls, booking accommodations, and scheduling events. It shows how to travel using various transport methods, manage your budget and action points, and even earn money through part-time jobs unique to each location. The article notes checking the town and city map for special locations, and how you can use in-game money to visit them. The page also discusses how the phone command allows you to schedule dates, and scheduling shows how to confirm those. This page details the Sentimental Graffiti game, focusing on building relationships through dates and managing the Setsunasa, bittersweet feeling, parameter. The game revolves around rekindling relationships with heroines by revisiting cities. The core mechanic is raising the Setsunasa parameter, which represents a heroine's longing for the protagonist. Failing to meet a heroine when her Setsunasa is high leads to negative consequences like missed calls and disappearing from the game. However, a certain level of Setsunasa is needed to trigger special events and dating options. The page then introduces 4 heroines: Aomori's Najimi and her childhood friend, Miyako, who sees you as family; Sapporo's Honoka, who is initially shy but becomes more open with the player, overcoming her struggles with communicating to men; Sendai's Emerus, a fortune-telling girl who considers the protagonist her darling, and uses unique slang, and is enthusiastic about occultism. Screenshots of these characters are featured, along with descriptions of their personalities, dating preferences, and key events. The page ends with a look at date events, where you have to make a 3-choice decision during a conversation to raise or lower a girl's affection, which could lead to events such as silent phone calls from a girl who is mad at the player. The next page features the game Sentimental Graffiti, with spotlights on different heroines and their associated city. First up is Yokohama's Asuka, who loves going to karaoke and popular amusement spots. Then, there is Kanazawa's Miyuki, a top student who balances study stress with dates. Kyoto's Wakana is a traditional girl, raised in a strict household with a hidden passion. Osaka's Natsuki is a lively girl who works at her family's okonomiyaki restaurant and loves sports. Hiroshima's Yu is a unique girl who prefers stargazing to typical dates. Finally, Nagasaki's Akira is a sophisticated girl who plays the violin and enjoys romantic settings. Each heroine is accompanied by screenshots and descriptions of their personalities, dating preferences, and key events. These include a scene of Asuka singing karaoke, Miyuki at a CD shop, Wakana running, Natsuki at an okonomiyaki restaurant, Yu gazing at stars, and Akira playing the violin. This page introduces Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, a puzzle RPG featuring characters from the popular Puyo Puyo series. The game takes place in Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Land, a theme park where each attraction is a dungeon that changes shape every time you play. The goal is to find a special, magical item hidden somewhere in the park. The player can choose from 3 main characters: Arle, Rulu, and Scherzo, each with their own unique playstyle and companions. Arle is magic-based, Rulu is a direct attacker, and Scherzo is a balanced character. Scherzo, a dark magic user, is considered a pervert by Arle but is extremely powerful. Arle is joined by Carbuncle, with magic skills but a dislike for combat. Rulu, with a sidekick named Minotauros, are focused on brute strength. The page also shows in-game screenshots, including battles and dialogue scenes. It mentions that the dungeon's changing shapes require players to adjust their strategies, and highlights the characters' unique personalities and abilities. The game is in 60% completion and will be released in March for 5,800 yen. The next page is an article about the upcoming game, Code R, described as a racing game set on mountain passes with adventure elements. The article highlights the game's focus on not only speed, but also stylish driving. The article mentions that the player takes on the role of a pro driver, Tetsuya Sakamoto, who competes against rivals on the Touge. It suggests that the game will feature a story with friends, romances, and rivals, and that players will need to impress spectators with their driving skills to succeed. Several attractions in the Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Land theme park from the previous page are detailed, including Water Paradise, Fire Mountain, Horror House, Wonder Jungle, and Starlight Stage. The game, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, features characters such as Arle and her nemesis Skeleton T. The article also provides development status. Release date, as April 98. Developer is Quintet. The game is currently at 70% completion. This page focuses on the upcoming racing game Code R and its various gameplay modes. The race mode centers around battling rivals on winding mountain passes, with an emphasis on impressing spectators through stylish driving. A replay mode is also featured. The game features multiple camera angles, plus the emotions and thoughts of the rivals and gallery are displayed in the replay, making the mode unique and changing with each replay. Adventure mode takes players beyond racing, incorporating elements of romance, part-time jobs, and information gathering. Players can deepen relationships through dates and progress the story. The game features the main character, Tetsuya Sakamoto, a 19-year-old who works part-time and races. The game has event scenes with a bunch of girls who have their own unique personalities. The page ends with a call for player submissions for gallery voices to be included in the replay mode. They are asking for examples such as OHHS and OS, and will feature the submissions in the game and in the credits. This page delves into the world of the upcoming game Street Machi, outlining the storylines and characters you'll encounter in Shibuya. The article features a map tracking the movements of 8 main characters across Shibuya at different times of day. It gives brief plot summaries for each character. Amemiya Keima, a young detective investigating strange occurrences. Ushio Masami, a former gang member falling for a jewelry store worker. Betsu Taro, an actor mistaken for a criminal. Hosoi Miko, a girl trying to lose weight. Ichikawa Fumiyasu, a writer investigating script thefts. Tobisawa Yohei, a popular student dealing with an unexpected pregnancy claim. Shindata Masashi, an ordinary student blackmailed into joining a criminal organization. Takamine Takashi, a former soldier struggling to adjust to civilian life. The article highlights key locations and moments in their intertwined stories, such as a meeting at Shibuya's Scramble Crossing, and encounters at various cafes and hotels. The game is an adventure game with various intertwining stories focusing on the characters and a crime element, and releases on January 22, 1998, and takes place in Shibuya. The next page continues the coverage of the game Street. It gives a rundown of events happening between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., and the movement of the characters in Shibuya. Keima is in the game center, while Ichikawa is at the Tobu Hotel. Ushio is at Matsutu Park, while Hosoi is seeking beauty treatments. Shinada is at a cafe, and Takamine is battling thugs. We see a brief summary for each of them. Keima is pursuing a case connected to a TV program. Ushio is dealing with a jewelry store robbery. Betsu is trying to land a role. Hosoi is dealing with boyfriend problems. Shinada is being blackmailed into joining a criminal organization, and Takamine is fighting some thugs. This page is a promotional spread featuring 2 Sega Saturn games. On the left is Himitsu Sentai Metamor V, an adventure game where you defend the Earth, complete with characters and screenshots. It advertises a pre-order price of 5,800 yen for an April release. On the right, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special is highlighted with a Christmas theme. The game will be on sale on December 23rd, with the Creedrum version priced at 5,800 yen and a set including a RAM expansion cartridge for 7,800 yen. The advertisement also shows Mai Shiranui in a Santa outfit. The next page showcases promotional material for two games. On the left is Graduation 2-1 Wedding Bell, an anniversary edition release for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation with anime-style visuals. The advertisement mentions a memorial campaign for the 10th anniversary of graduation. An album is planned for release on January 15, 1998. The text discusses a campaign where those who send in application tickets from Graduation album, along with application postcards from the Sega Saturn version of Graduation 2, will receive original trading cards and have a chance to win virtual graduation certificates. On the right is Zhanggu Rhythm, a dance action game for the Sega Saturn, and the characters are shown in a cartoonish art style. It is scheduled for release on January 15, 1998. With a price of 5,800 yen. This page features promotional material for two titles. On the left is Legend of the Galactic Heroes Plus, a tactical simulation game for the Sega Saturn. It highlights the game's enhanced features, including improved polygon CG graphics and the inclusion of 36 voice actors, promising a more realistic representation of battle and event scenes. Related items are listed, including the Legend of the Galactic Heroes Plus official guidebook, the release of Legend of Galactic Heroes Guidance Series rental and sale. The standard price for the game is 5,800 yen. On the right is Stellar Assault SS, a full polygon 3D shooting game for the Sega Saturn. The advert emphasizes the game's enhanced capabilities on the Sega Saturn, offering freedom of movement and objective gameplay. The advert highlights that it's a version of the game well received on other platforms, and that the Sega Saturn version has increased the performance and includes high-quality CG movies using SGI tech. It is scheduled for release on February 26, 1998, with a price of 5,800 yen. The next page is a spread featuring Magical Night Dreams Cotton 2 for the Sega Saturn. The left side showcases the game's artwork and action, highlighting its new features and the return of Cotton. It mentions the inclusion of a Saturn mode, a two-player mode, and new characters Apply and Needle, as well as a variety of actions. The game is available for 5,800 yen. The right side is a special feature titled, What Will Happen to Sega Saturn in 1998, focusing on the console's direction for the year. It highlights the strong lineup of games in 1997 and explores whether this momentum will continue. It features an interview with a Sega supporter and martial arts expert who declares, "I will protect the Saturn." The image shows the Sega Saturn console and controller next to the speaker. This page appears to be a Sega Saturn fan mail-in postcard. It features fields for personal information like address, name, pen name, phone number, and age, along with sections for game achievements, favorite destinations, and other comments. The card includes instructions for Saturn fan submissions, emphasizing that content can be messages or illustrations. It notes to remember to mark the intended corner. The next page features an interview with Hideki Okamura, the head of Sega's Consumer Business Division, discussing Sega's strategies from 1997 and plans for 1998. Okamura reflects on the strong lineup of games for the year-end sales season, but also acknowledges the disappointing summer sales due to key title delays. He emphasizes the importance of providing high-quality software to satisfy users and expand the hardware base. Okamura touches on the Sega Bandai merger dissolution, the potential for new hardware, and his commitment to not betray Saturn users. When asked about the Saturn being seen as a Bishujo game machine, he claims to see the future for titles like Grandia and Shining Force 2i. A top 10 list of best-selling Sega Saturn games released in 1997 is included, with Super Robot Wars F at the top. Other popular titles include Neon Genesis, Evangelion Second Impression, Tengai Makyu, The Apocalypse IV, and Gleague Pro Soccer Team Otsukuru. Finally, there is an advert for a Sega New Year giveaway, with a Mr. Bones cap, and stickers for Vipers and Sonic. This page features interviews with Sega M1 and M2 developers about upcoming Saturn games. M1, focused on arcade ports, discusses porting hits like The House of the Dead, HOD, highlighting the challenges of recreating the experience on the Saturn, especially from newer arcade hardware. They aim for a faithful reproduction of the game's atmosphere. M2, meanwhile, details the development of Virtua Fighter 3 for the Saturn, emphasizing research into a unique Saturn version rather than a direct port, alongside a new racing game and a new concept title. Both interviews include previews of upcoming titles and mention a Sega New Year giveaway with VF3 merchandise. This page has two separate interviews, one with Sega's network business team and the other with GameArts, focusing on their upcoming Saturn releases. The Sega network business team, led by Toshihiro Shibasaki, discusses their plans for X-Band and Dragon's Dream, DD. They aim to offer unique online experiences and emphasize the importance of community. They are planning new X-Band titles in different genres, and they are also focusing on user-friendly services. GameArts president, Yoichi Miyagi, talks about the upcoming Gungrafon 2 and a summer release. He highlights the improvements in Gungrafon 2, focusing on making the title more appealing to fans of the original, and also the enhancement of online play using a link cable. He mentions improvements to the graphics and the addition of new vehicles. The image on the page shows a 3D shooting game, emphasizing the improvement in making the online battles possible. The GameArts president is hinting at a fan service title for '98. The page also offers a chance to win Virtua Fighter media cards as a New Year's gift. The next page features an interview with GameArts president Yoichi Miyagi, diving into their next RPG, which will blend game screens and CG. The interview explores the development process, focusing on the animation techniques used in Grandia and how they differ from traditional methods. Miyagi emphasizes the unique animation style, using 12,000 hand-drawn frames for the characters. He also touches on the integration of CG, with the aim of seamlessly blending it into the gameplay experience. The page also introduces the concept of seamless transitions between CG and game graphics. This technique aims to eliminate the noticeable cut between movie sequences and gameplay. The PS game, Final Fantasy V2, is used as an example of the technique. The page also has a preview of ESP's 1998 software lineup. It lists games such as Chaos Seed, Fuki Kakusei Ryusenki, Gungrafon 2, Mobile Suit Gundam, Guren's Ambition, Code R, Baroque, Slayer's Royal 2 tentative, and Lunar, Eternal Blue tentative. These titles represent a variety of genres, including simulation, action RPG, and adventure. Additionally, a lucky New Year gift is presented, offering a chance to win Grandia posters. Warp's head, Kenji Eno, discusses the studio's 1998 plans, focusing on two upcoming releases, Real Sound 2 and D2. Eno reflects on 1997's Real Sound, Kaze no Regret, highlighting challenges and player feedback. 2, aiming for accessible gameplay, draws inspiration from Crash Bandicoot 2, Azel, and Tomb Raider 2 for its real-time graphics and aims to surprise players. A possible third title, 300 Million RPG, is mentioned, but the focus remains on the confirmed releases. Eno also discusses merchandise plans, including items for female fans, and the Happy Birthday Laura event across Japan. Finally, a Lucky New Year's gift contest offers Warp-related prizes, like curry and merchandise. The next page features a reader survey and a chance to win games. Readers are asked to fill out a questionnaire, providing information about their education, age, gender, magazine preferences, and gaming habits. They're also asked to rate recent Sega Saturn games featured in the magazine, both enjoyable and disappointing ones. The survey also inquires about factors influencing game purchases and preferred manga artists. There's a list of 10 games as prizes. Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG, professional baseball game Let's Make It, Winter Heat, Burning Rangers, Sentimental Graffiti, Street, Wonder 3, Real Bout Fatal Fury. Dominated Mind. The Kindaichi case files the fearful murder of the star-seeing island, and Graduation Lovers Love episode. The page also contains instructions on how to fill out and submit the survey postcard. There's a sample of a correctly and incorrectly filled survey card, and some rules for correct submission to ensure entry. This section covers things like writing legibly. Additionally, it features a description of the survey items, which details the meaning of the icons used when rating the games in the survey. These are icons for character movement, music and sound effects, value for money, operation, heat intensity, and originality. The next page lists Sega Saturn software that was released from December 1997. It's organized by genre: action, simulation, adventure, role-playing, 2D shooting, sports, puzzle and table games, and 3D shooting. Games listed include Action: Tamak, Clockwork Knight, Rayman, X-Men, Ninja Hayate, Dragon Ball Z, and more. Simulation: Idol Mahjong, Final Romance R, Wizard's Harmony 2, Mincher, Myst, Zork I, Role-playing, Magic Knight, Ray Earth, Grandia, and more. 2D shooting: Bulk / Victory Goal. Sports: Pebble Beach Golf Links, International Victory Goal Series, Puzzle and Table Games. 10,000 Rai, Super Puzzle Fighter 2. 3D shooting: Wing Arms, Virtual On. There's also a section for reader presents, listing Sega Ages games as potential prizes. The next page features two main sections. On the left, it advertises the Desire Official Visual Collection Character Fanbook, featuring characters Tina, Makoto, Cheryl, and Raiko. It includes new illustrations and content from the Win95 version, priced at 1,980 yen. On the right, the page highlights Kuryaku, or strategy guides. The text proclaims Ultimate Lineup of the Year with full support. It showcases 11 Saturn games, recommending them as essential strategy guides for the new year. Games highlighted with screenshots and page numbers for their respective guides include Grandia, P78, Uno, P88, Shining Force 2i, P96, J-League Pro Soccer Club Create 2, P102, Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, P108, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, P116, Marie's Atelier, P125, Sonic R, P136, Dragon's Dream, P130, Sega Touring Car Championship, P134, and R.M.J., P138. This page is a strategy guide for Grandia, focusing on skills and magic. It provides a list of skills and their effects, along with the required skill levels and the characters who learn them. The guide also includes a walkthrough for the Dom Ruins, including maps and instructions on how to navigate the area, solve puzzles, and defeat the boss, showing Justin and Fina now officially part of the team. In the walkthrough, it explains enemies will drop from above in some areas, there are hidden rooms to be found, and elevators that can be activated by interacting with the center lever. The player must move levers on the walls to open floors and drop enemies. This page provides a walkthrough for escaping Garlisle Base, starting with rescuing the kidnapped children. The path involves navigating through the base using ducks, finding key items like the jail key dropped by Lean, and battling bosses like Saki, Nana, and Mio. Also included is an equipment guide for the village of Lek, listing recommended weapons, armor, and items, along with their effects and character compatibility. The section also features a walkthrough of the Foggy Forest, including navigating the maze-like area, battling enemies, and finally reaching the edge of the world. This page continues the walkthrough for Grandia, focusing on areas beyond the edge of the world. It details the route through the world's end, including navigating traps and challenging enemies. The walkthrough provides specific instructions for areas like the world's end, with tips on avoiding damage from falling blocks and handling strong enemies like Emerald Haniwa. A strategy is given for fighting multiple enemies, advising players to focus on critical attacks and eliminating foes one by one. A section is included on finding Sue, who gets lost in the Dragon's Valley. A guide on obtaining weapons and items in the village of Dite is included, showing the prices and effects of items like the Swordfish Blade, Dragon Bone Axe, and Gale Whip, plus equipment recommendations for characters such as Justin, Gadwin, Sue, and Fina. It also describes the encounter with Gadwin in Dragon's Valley, followed by a duel with Justin before he joins the party. The page features maps of Dragon's Valley that mark locations of interest. This page is a continuation of the Grandia Strategy Guide, focusing on the areas of the Rain Moon Mountain and Fire Mountain. The guide offers detailed walkthroughs for navigating the Rain Moon Mountain and its tower, including instructions for manipulating switches to advance. It warns of the poison river and muddy terrain that's slow movement. A map and advice is also included for dealing with the serpent boss, suggesting a strategy of destroying each head individually while avoiding total body attacks. For the Fire Mountain, the guide advises players to equip fire-resistant gear and water-based weapons to counter the fire-based enemies. It notes that Justin and Fina will initially be alone in the Fire Mountain, but Sue and Gadwin will join later. The guide also provides tips for defeating the Mad Dragon and suggests the use of Shakia's magic or scrolls and critical hits from Justin and Gadwin. The page lists items available for purchase in Ganbo Village, detailing their effects and which characters can equip them. A request is also mentioned where Justin and Fina are sent to the Fire Mountain to be sacrificed to a dragon. This page continues the Grandia strategy guide, now focusing on Twin Tower and the events surrounding Justin and Fina. The guide provides a walkthrough for Twin Tower, highlighting key objectives like obtaining the moving stone and facing the challenging Galden. It details how specific in-game events occur for Fina and Justin. The guide gives tips for navigating Twin Tower north and south. There are instructions on how to manipulate triangular objects by stepping on black switches. It mentions the Sea of Trees, where a girl needs help. You can find her by traveling to the Sea of Trees, where you will come across a girl in need of help. After you find her, you will need to head to Pirate Island and battle Nitari Kujira. To beat this foe, you will need to lower your defense and increase your attack power. The page also highlights a cute scene involving Justin and Fina. This page features a strategy guide for Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world. It focuses on the Mio scenario, promising complete maps and puzzle solutions for difficult areas. The guide highlights key items needed and branching points within the story, starting from the Ayumi scenario. It guides you on how to obtain the Golden Key and Mio's memo book. The walkthrough starts with the first day, detailing events from the beginning of the game. It covers interactions between Mio and Takuya, including a branching point where you decide whether to return Mio's memo book. Key events covered include returning Mio's memo book, a confrontation between Mio and Kana in the office, memories with Mizuki, a branching point involving Erika-sensei, found sleeping under a bed in the nurse's office. Additionally, there's an overview of the ADM's map, highlighting the areas covered in this guide and showing different scenarios. The next page continues the strategy guide for Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world. Yuno. It covers the first day and the second day of the game, focusing on key interactions and events with Mio. On the first day, it details the initial encounter between Takuya and Mio, focusing on their discussions about the Triangular Mountain ruins and the mystery surrounding the vanished woman. Specific events include visiting the evening restaurant with Mio, learning about her interest in Takuya's father's work and her own research, and seeing the materials she compiled. The guide also covers Mio's family circumstances and witnessing the truck explosion at the coastal construction site. The second day section starts with Takuya waking up in Mio's room. It covers Mio's changed attitude and the discovery of a scandal article about Mio's father posted in the school hallway. It also focuses on overhearing Mio and Yuki's conversation. The guide continues with finding Mio on the rooftop, where Yuki confronts Takuya, and ends with consulting with Miss Asakura on the beach. This page continues the Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world strategy guide, focusing on the second day. It details Takuya's search for Mio after she runs away, including visiting her house and encountering Yuki, as well as finding Ms. Eriko on the beach and obtaining information from her. The guide also covers getting advice from Kana, visiting the company, and encountering Ryuzo Temple, and the search for the silver medal in the well. It provides step-by-step instructions on how to obtain the silver medal and what to do with it. The guide also explains how to find Mio with the help of Yuki, Miyuki, and Takuya, giving specific advice on how to get the best ending to the stage, which involves choosing to search for Mio with Yuki. It also mentions the tapestry in the house and how it relates to the story. The next page continues the strategy guide for Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world, specifically for the second day of the game. The guide focuses on navigating the cave, offering instructions on how to acquire items and solve puzzles. It details obtaining the treasure by pressing a button and explains how to open doors using the white and black metals. It mentions the separation of Takuya and Yuki and finding the iron sword. The walkthrough includes pushing buttons in a specific order to open a path. The guide gives instructions on how to use the silver medal to open a door and provides a decision point regarding going with Mayo. It also has a map of the cave system and includes solutions to puzzles, as well as screenshots of key events and characters. The next page offers an in-depth look at the new battle system in Shining Force 2-1, Scenario 1. It's part of a special edition strategy guide that aims to provide advice for battles. The feature covers character-specific weapon skill techniques and complete strategies, mentioning that the weapon skill techniques need to be learned by weapon type, and that there are generally 3 types. Characters like Synbios, Dantares, Mascurin, Grace, Hayward, Obright, Iron, Julian, and Sibalri are shown and explained in detail, with key attacks described. The page also dives into the friendship support system, explaining the levels of friendship and the support they provide. Friendship levels range from acquaintance, trust, close friends, to lovers. The article explains how friendship points are earned by cooperating in battle, and emphasizes that the higher the friendship level, the better the support effects. This page covers 2 battles in Shining Force 2-1, Scenario 1, offering tactical advice. Battle 9 takes place inside a train and suggests an attack and retreat strategy due to the confined space. Players can explore the train before combat to find items. It introduces the enemies, which are bandits working with the Empire, and discusses the weapons and items available in the train's shops. The map breakdown highlights the locations of dark mages, dwarves, assassins, and bardmen, and recommends poison removal items due to the assassins' poison attacks. Battle 10 occurs on top of a moving train against the bandit leader, Seraph. It introduces the Birdmen, Elder, and Zero, who join the party. Elder is playable, while Zero joins in Scenario 2. The map shows the positions of Seraph, dark mages, dwarves, assassins, and bardmen. The guide advises focusing on taking down dark mages with archers and knights while chasing after Seraph. It suggests prioritizing characters with high agility and creating a wall of ranged attackers to push forward and defeat Seraph. The next page continues the strategy guide for Shining Force 2-1, Scenario 1. It focuses on battles 11 and 12, along with information about new characters and events that occur after the battles. Battle 11, Rescue the Enslaved Villagers, is a non-combat battle where the player must use the monk Karna's Elbesim's orb to free villagers from mind control. Karna joins the party after this battle. Battle 12, Finally Face Hudoru, focuses on defeating waves of enemies before confronting Hudoru. The guide describes the enemies as inferior versions of Hudoru. It includes maps and strategies for both battles, highlighting enemy placements and recommending tactics. The page introduces New One, a magic user who can be recruited after the battle in the mansion. The guide also details an event that occurs after the mansion battle, hinting at plot developments and the importance of preparing for the next fight by visiting shops and stocking up on equipment. This page features an interview with a developer of J.League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuro 2. Let's make a pro soccer club 2, focusing on player relationships, editing, and related topics. The interview addresses common player concerns, such as relationship issues within the team, and how the game handles player dynamics through a system of personality types. Players have different personalities that affect their compatibility with teammates, which can lead to conflicts or poor performance. It also discusses how to manage player morale and team dynamics, including dealing with player dissatisfaction and the impact of player transfers. The developer provides insights on how to improve team chemistry through training and player selection, and strategies for dealing with difficult players, including when to transfer them, and how to handle explosive outbursts. The developer also touches on the system's strengths and weaknesses, as well as the importance of player positioning. There's also a discussion about how the game reflects the abilities of Japanese national team players, with a note that the data is based on their performance up to the World Cup qualifiers. The page also promotes a reader participation event called Saturn Cup. The next page continues with an interview about J.League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuro 2. They discuss how player stats affect gameplay and how players improve over time, touching on the idea of hidden or latent abilities that can emerge. The interview touches on how to scout and find the best players for your team, including the possibility of exchanging player data with other players via the internet or through passwords. The developer also mentions player recruitment, focusing on signing foreign players and managing them effectively. The interview ends with a discussion about dealing with fan expectations and the importance of creating a strong stadium to satisfy supporters. The page features an image of a player with the details such as name, position, height, and weight. The page also contains the notice regarding the Saturn Cup contest deadline of January 16th, with a reminder to carefully transfer passwords to avoid disqualification. This page delves into how to build the ultimate club in J.League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuro. 2. Revealing data from within the game and experiments. They have details of recommended scouts and coaches, showing their impact on player development. The page shows how they experimented with high-caliber, fictional players to test team chemistry, using 2 formations, one with only midfielders and another with forwards and defenders. There are tables showing the player relations and how well they function together. The page also details how password players can be gained and how they can be used to create a strong club and the funds needed to get good players. They explain how to identify player skills and compatibility, plus the need to develop the best players with youth. Finally, the page shows the results of the experiment, noting changes or lack thereof over 2 years. They show the final results for Avanzal and the J-League. The next page is a strategy guide for soul hackers, the 4th in a series. The guide provides information on dungeon and the secrets of hidden demon combinations. It highlights the importance of support magic like Takaja and Rakaja, offering a list of demons that can use these spells. They suggest using these demons for fusion to pass on the magic. The guide focuses on 3 dungeons: Arcane Mall, Argon Factory, and Neumon Underground. It gives a walkthrough of Arcane Mall, detailing the story and the challenge of rescuing the protagonist's father. It mentions the locked doors that require different colored levers to open, with maps of the dungeon. The guide also suggests recommended demons to fuse. The page also lists Arcane Mall demons and items found inside treasures. This page continues the strategy guide for soul hackers. The first section is about the Argon Factory dungeon, detailing the importance of HP and MP management due to the large floor and locked doors. The guide mentions security locks and how to unlock them by going to the control rooms of each production line on the first floor and the A and B doors on the second floor. It also suggests that the boss at the end is quite strong, being able to reflect magic, so using direct attacks is recommended. Some recommended demons are included, such as Belserk and Tiara. Next is about the Neumon Underground dungeon, where Naomi is tasked with defeating either Tiamat or Apsu. It suggests that Naomi fights alone, without any demons, and that MP should be used without worry. The guide also lists the demons appearing in Neumon Underground, as well as items found inside treasures. The demons list include Pachacamac, Roi, Vivian, Harpus, Puton, Tengata Manu, Kaso, Piare, Dobergan, Nyalmot, Greyman, Cosmo Zombie, Ararun, and Akamanto. The second demon list includes Mizuchi, Mushfushu, Ru, Tengata Manu, Anzu, Armand, Orthrus, and Traltectri. Finally, it lists door locations and directions to different parts of the dungeons. This page delves deeper into demon fusion in Soul Hackers. It covers special fusions that result in unique demons. Dark-light fusions create the Archeon and Mad Gods by combining light and dark-type demons under specific conditions. The guide also details special sword fusions, altering sword properties and names depending on the demon used. The article mentions the fusion of Goddess Skadi, which results in the sword Gaiborg, and the demon Futotama creates Futotama. The page also touches upon accident fusions, resulting in the rare and divine types. These unpredictable results occur when certain demon combinations are used. The page also lists special combinations to fuse specific demons, such as Mother Earth Kali, demon fusion combinations, and the effects of combining spirits and mitamas. This page of Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers features a guide to demons, listing stats, attributes, and special abilities for level 4551 demons. It highlights that while calm demons are less common, the demons featured have powerful magic and special attacks. It also gives advice to select demons. The page presents a table of special magic and attacks, available from level 34 onward, recommending moves like 3-day Moonslash and Night Move for their effectiveness. It details the consumption, system, range, and effect of different recovery, attack, and magic techniques, and lists extra special attacks. This page is a strategy guide for Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. It outlines various combat styles, special moves, and techniques to help players win matches. It covers the basic strategies for the game's characters, including hidden characters. The guide emphasizes the importance of mastering combos, and it introduces a Z-button technique for aerial maneuvers and deceptive feints to outsmart opponents. The page also includes a presentation from SNK, offering a promotional item. The guide details specific commands for hidden versions of characters, like Andy Bogard, Terry Bogard, Billy Kane, and Blue Mary. These hidden characters offer unique movesets and abilities that differ from their standard counterparts. Finally, the page promises a detailed guide for all characters on the next page. This page continues the Real Bout Fatal Fury Special Strategy Guide, offering character-specific tips and combo recommendations for Terry Bogard, Joe Higashi, Mai Shiranui, Sokaku Mochizuki, Bob Wilson, Hanfu, and Andy Bogard. For Terry, the guide suggests using standing B attacks for zoning, and mixing in crack shoot, charge kicks, and round wave for pressure. For Joe, it recommends starting with Hurricane Upper and following up with various combos. Mai's strategy involves using her fan attacks for zoning, and the guide also details combos involving her special moves. The guide also details specific combos and strategies for each character. The page emphasizes combo execution and offers advice on when to use certain moves to maximize damage and maintain pressure on opponents. The next page continues the Real Bout Fatal Fury Special Strategy Guide, with specific tactics and combos for Franco Bash, Ryo Sakazaki, Jin Chonrei, Jin Chonshu, Blue Mary, Duck King, and Kim Kafwan. Franco Bash's strategy revolves around long-range standing cock attacks and using his gut dunks. The guide recommends combos that start with jump C or standing A/B, followed by command attacks. Ryo Sakazaki's strategy focuses on the snake fist, down pointing arrow, down left pointing arrow plus A or B or C, and the guide provides combo recommendations. For Jin Chonrei, the strategy emphasizes using his unavoidable Heiko Kyaku plus A, and the guide recommends using Ryu Ten Shinrei plus A. Blue Mary's tactics involve the use of spin fall plus A and quick sway A plus B, and the guide provides combo recommendations. Duck King's strategy relies on the Hienzan, down pointing arrow plus B, and the guide provides combo recommendations. Kim Kafwan's playstyle revolves around the Hienzan, down pointing arrow, Karj plus B, and the guide provides combo recommendations. This page features more character strategies and combos for Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. It includes detailed move breakdowns and recommended combos for Billy Kane, Chin Shanzan, Lawrence Blood, Tung Fu Ru, Wolfgang Krauser, and Geese Howard. Each section highlights key moves and suggests effective ways to integrate them into offensive strategies. For instance, Billy Kane benefits from jump C and spamming crouching A, while Tung Fu Ru relies on the Shogeki plus C and the Anger Blast plus A. There are also notes on how to exploit certain moves or deal with specific situations to optimize gameplay. The next page continues the Real Bout Fatal Fury Special Combo Guide, providing movesets for characters such as Blue Mary, Andy Bogard, Duck King, Joe Higashi, Mai Shiranui, Kim Kafwan, Bob Wilson, Franco Bash, and Ryuji Yamazaki. The guide illustrates how to execute combination attacks, noting that standing and crouching moves can be cancelled into special moves. Screenshots demonstrate the impact of specific combos, such as B right pointing arrow C with Terry Bogard. A few characters have additional notes emphasizing crucial tactics, such as Andy Bogard's Linny attack. The page also features a special edition strategy for the game, Atelier Marie, the Alchemist of Salzburg. This section highlights 3 unique endings, discussing the requirements to achieve them. These include focusing on achieving a high level for Marie and Sia, neglecting item creation for 5 years, or focusing on item creation with Sia's help. It also contains information about Sia's level and how to defeat tough enemies like the gargoyles. This page details strategies for Atelier Marie, the Alchemist of Salzburg, focusing on optimizing item research and improving workflow by hiring fairies. It highlights key locations to gather materials and how to recruit fairies, detailing their abilities and efficiency in item creation and gathering. The page also lists the abilities and efficiency of different colored fairies. The page explains how to obtain powerful weapons in the game, including visiting the Belzenberg Castle to acquire legendary gear, and trading rare Grayson ore, found near Valiant Mountain, to the weaponsmith to receive new gear. It lists weapon names, attributes, and who can equip them. The page concludes with strategies for fighting 3 major bosses, including the Vilbel and Farlane, focusing on their attack patterns and recommending effective tactics and equipment. The next page provides a guide for triggering specific events in Atelier Marie, the Alchemist of Salzburg, detailing the conditions needed to initiate them. One event involves the weapon shop owner asking Marie to make him a hair growth formula, which requires a series of steps, including completing the Banbus Roa event and having the Bamboo Forest item. Another event involves seeing shooting stars with Shia, where the player can buy star fragments. There are also guides to unlock other events, such as helping the character, Chris, by creating cleaning tools, and dealing with bandits by finding a wandering swordsman called Schwelbe. This page also covers events, such as finding the Donkelheit item during a solar eclipse, and making elixir medicine to save Shia from being sick, which is then given as a gift. The page also includes details on recruiting a thief, dealing with a monster, making friends, and the condition needed to gain access to the castle. The next page features a strategy guide for Dragon's Dream on the Sega Saturn. It provides tips for beginners, emphasizing the importance of pre-game knowledge to avoid wasting time and get the most out of the experience. It suggests sticking to warrior-type classes like Berserkers or Ponfa in the beginning, as they are more resilient. It also includes information on various skills, spells, and item synthesis. The guide includes a section on how to effectively use auto-navigation, read messages, level up characters in a balanced way, and seek advice from other players. Item synthesis recipes are also provided for both pharmacists and armorers, as well as a list of possible item combinations. The page has screenshots of gameplay, including maps and character interactions. There's also a section about assembling a party, suggesting players be proactive and friendly to attract potential teammates. This page is a strategy guide focused on specific quests in the town of Miliopolis in Dragon's Dream on the Sega Saturn. It highlights point-by-point strategies for various quests, indicating key locations on maps with letters and symbols. The quests covered include rescuing Elfin, where players must find a staff and a white key, and deciphering riddles in the town at the bottom of the lake to obtain 4 proofs. There's also a guide for the Herb Forest quest, detailing where to find necessary herbs. Additionally, there's information on dealing with a secret weapon and ancient messages, emphasizing the need for specific keys and items. The page includes maps for various locations, such as the first and second floors of dungeons, and provides advice on how to progress through them, solve puzzles, and defeat enemies. It mentions key characters like Beezel, and hints at the importance of choosing the correct responses in dialogues. It also touches upon where to find specific items like blue candies and postcards, along with tips for combat and dungeon navigation. The next page is a strategy guide for the Urban Circuit course in Sega Touring Car Championship on the Sega Saturn. It aims to help players master the course and unlock the game's true ending. The guide highlights key points on the track, including optimal gear shifts at the start, specific cornering techniques, and necessary speed reductions. It focuses on how to navigate the course's tight turns and continuous corners by suggesting strategies for first to third corner, the 4th, 7th, 11th, 13th and 14th corners. The page also includes a section on basics TC driving techniques, emphasizing smooth driving, weight transfer, and proper handling for different drive systems. It offers advice on grip driving, throttle control, and adjusting to road conditions. Finally, it announces a time attack contest with specified courses and rules, encouraging players to participate for a chance to win prizes. The submission details and contact information are provided. This page is a strategy guide for obtaining all the emeralds and unlocking Supersonic in Sonic SAR. The guide gives tips and maps for each of the 5 courses to locate the hidden emeralds. It explains that you need to collect all 7 emeralds to unlock Supersonic, a character who is essential for time attacks. Each course has specific requirements to obtain the emeralds, typically involving collecting rings and passing through specific gates. The guide highlights the locations of these gates and offers advice on how to collect enough rings quickly. The courses covered are Resort Island, where you need 50 rings and to pass through a gate. Quote, Radical City, where there are 2 emeralds available. Regal Ruin, where the first emerald requires 50 rings and the second requires 20. Reactive Factory, where both emeralds require 50 rings, and Passing Through Gates. Radiant Emerald, which unlocks after winning on the first 4 courses. The guide also provides new shortcut routes for some of the courses, such as taking a detour through the forest in Resort Island, or jumping to a later shortcut point in Radical City. The final tip is about Radiant Emerald. It is mostly linear, focusing on maintaining speed through turns. The final section mentions that completing all courses unlocks Drive, Eggman, as a playable character. The next page is a strategy guide for RMJ, the Mystery Hospital. The guide provides a walkthrough for escaping the hospital, focusing on exploring the hospital, and finding a way out. It covers the initial stages, including finding necessary items and navigating through different floors. Points of interest in the hospital are indicated in a map, and tips are given for when to use specific items. It also details how to obtain an antidote for a virus in the basement, emphasizing the importance of time management and avoiding certain pitfalls that lead to game overs. Additionally, the page offers tips for solving puzzles and making critical decisions, such as administering the correct antivirus to infected characters. It contains specific instructions for a puzzle involving a numbered panel, providing the sequence to move the panels in order to solve it. Lastly, the page reveals a special Aya shot, which can be seen on the name entry screen or on the monitor in the restroom. The next page is an advertisement for the game Pia Carrot e Yukoso for the Sega Saturn, releasing in March 1998. The ad features 3 anime girls in waitress uniforms and highlights several aspects of the game. The text promotes the ability to customize the uniforms of the waitresses in the game's Uniform Select mode, features full voice acting for the girls, and contains original animations and added scenarios exclusive to the Sega Saturn version. The page also has a section titled Saturn Kingdom, with information related to the Sega Saturn. It includes columns on reader submissions, news, sales rankings, and more. There are images from Sega Sanshiro and an event for digital actress Laura's birthday. It also lists the address for submitting fan mail. This page covers a range of topics related to the Sega Saturn. There's an event report on the Sonic R game tournament and lottery held in December, detailing the prizes, atmosphere, and a funny observation about the wishes people wrote on the Christmas tree for the lottery. There's also a video game section introducing the OVA adaptation of the popular game Kakusei, which translates to Underclassmen, including details on the storyline, release date, and a Valentine's Day event with details on how to apply for tickets. Additionally, there's information about a figure of Manaka Takanari from After School Love Club Love Etude. It details the figure's scale, price, and where to purchase it. The page announces the launch of Game TV, a video game information website centered around video clips, and provides the website address. There is also an announcement of a CD single release featuring Sakura and Ayame from Sakura Wars, including commentary on the new songs. Finally, there are several game releases and updates for CDs, books, videos, and other releases, including a charity CD for the Hanshinawaji earthquake, plus a list of winners of a magazine giveaway. The page concludes with details on several prize giveaways, including the Solo Crisis demo, a Super Robot Wars 1998 calendar, and a King of Fighters 98 calendar. It also lists the terms of application. The next page presents various Sega Saturn game rankings and related news. It highlights the top-selling Saturn games, noting the success of Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, and Shining Force 2i, praising their strong performance. The page mentions that Sonic R didn't quite reach the sales figures of Sonic Jam. A popularity ranking lists upcoming titles, with Sakura Wars 2, Eve the Lost One, and Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter leading the charts, also commenting on The House of the Dead's disappointing performance. The page includes a section on games with high hopes for potential ports, specifically Pia Carrot 2 and Tsukihana no Kishi, noting their rising popularity and possible reasons for their success. A small ranking shows results of what games are the most anticipated to be ported to other platforms, including Tengai Meikyu Daion no Mokushiroku and Guardian Heroes. This page features a ranking of Sega Saturn games, along with reader reviews and critiques. Devil Summoner Soul Hackers takes the top spot, followed closely by J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, also known as Sakatsuku 2. The page includes detailed player reviews of both games, highlighting aspects like graphics, gameplay enhancements, and overall enjoyment. Soul Hackers is praised for its improved gameplay and immersive story, while Sakatsuku 2 is commended for its realistic soccer management simulation, but also criticized for repetitive elements. The page features a table listing the top 9 games, their publishers, release dates, prices, and overall scores, along with the average ratings of the games in various areas like sound, gameplay, enjoyment, and graphics. The negative reviews point out issues such as simple dungeons, high enemy damage, and a lack of in-game information in Soul Hackers, and repetitive elements, and questionable in Sakatsuku 2. The page concludes with comments from the developers of both games, thanking readers for their feedback and expressing their commitment to improving future titles. The next page dives into reader reviews and opinions on several Sega Saturn titles. Neketsu Oyako, Love and Destroy, an RPG, is praised for its characters and storyline but critiqued for its lengthy battle sequences. Magical School Lunar is recognized for its music and character development, but criticized for its high encounter rate and dungeon design. Zero Divide. The final conflict gets mixed opinions, with some appreciating the refinements to the previous installment, while others find the gameplay somewhat lacking. Mass Destruction for Dads 2 is considered a simple game to understand, but difficult to master. The Star Bowling is praised for its voice acting and presentation, but some find the ball and pin movement unnatural. Totsugeki Karakuri Tamawari Kinden Anku is considered a game for those interested in ancient Egyptian culture. Transport Tycoon receives criticism for its confusing road layouts and CPU usage, making the game difficult to manage. The page also features a section seeking reader submissions of game reviews and a list of games for which reviews are being solicited, including What is the Reason Armoria Was Born, Princess Crown, Zeruld's Alchemist, Shining Force 2, Scenario 1, Kyokucho Tiger 2 Plus, Emblem J, Zap, Snowboarding Tricks 98, Dragon's Dream, and more. This page features real-time game rankings, along with a report highlighting the success of both Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, and Sakura Wars 2. The report suggests Soul Hackers is gaining popularity, with reader submissions leaning towards it. The page then presents a detailed listing of game rankings, showing titles like Sakura Wars, followed by titles in English such as Super Robot Taisen F, Even Burst Error, Desire, Dead or Alive, and more. The next page is the start of the new year with Conehead Club and includes reader submissions. The first submission discusses a newfound appreciation for the Sega Saturn and connecting with others through it, culminating in a chance meeting with someone who also enjoys the system. Another submission tells a story of an accidental love tap involving a falling object on a train. There's a call for stories about finding friends or partners through video games. One reader complains about being seen as less of a gamer due to being a girl. Another reader mentions that their brother bought a PlayStation due to its popularity at school, and the Sega Saturn being labeled as a maniac console. The reader defends the Saturn and vows to keep their brother from playing their copy of Uno. There are a few illustrations with reader comments about various games and characters, including characters from Dead or Alive, King of Fighters, character Rimururu from Samurai Showdown. The page also has a section called Cone Kids Network Board, where readers discuss the term Gyaruge, gal game. One reader dislikes the term, finding it lowbrow, while another feels beautiful girl game is too euphemistic. This page is a Conehead Club section, featuring reader submissions, game requests, illustrations, and more. The page starts with transplant requests, requesting various games to be brought to the Sega Saturn, including visual novels like Shizuku, Kizuato, and To Heart, and praising the emotional and engaging storytelling. A reader wants Noelle ported to the Saturn, and another reader wants Pocket Fighter. In the Kids Hope section, a reader expresses disappointment with Sega's hardware design choices and its perceived lack of focus on 3D graphics compared to Sony. Another reader is unhappy that Sega has delayed the release date of many of its games. The page includes a reader section on personal game recommendations, which features Linkle Liver Story and Phantasm Step. There is an Illustration Hall of Fame segment highlighting reader-submitted artwork with a piece from Baroque in first place. The We Are Supporters section includes fan art and messages for Sakura Wars 2 and Evangelion. There is an illustration for Vampire Savior and Vampire Groovy. This page features a mix of game previews, fan submissions, and news. It mentions Dokoku Soshites, a title where the story branches based on how you solve traps, focusing on a suspenseful opening scene with a bus ride turning into a nightmare. There's a Dragon Force Friends Association section with fan illustrations and comments about the game Dragon Force. The Sega Am Freak section includes art and comments about various games. Fan submissions include artwork for characters from games such as Azel, Panzer Dragoon Saga, and Ranzer. A call for submissions highlights artwork and comments regarding the games Ideon, TV's Little Novel, and Cappuccino. There's also a feature on the character Goddess Astria, with character art and descriptions. This page is a Saturn Fan No. 1 reader gift application form. It includes address and name fields to be filled out by the applicant, along with a space for the desired gift number. There's also a section for rating games from page 73, specifically games that the applicant has played. The address for Tim and Saturn Fan No. 1 participation are also printed. The next page delves into the mechanics of escaping a closed-off abandoned house, focusing on movement and basic system screens. It introduces the initial movement screen, where the player navigates the protagonist using the directional keys to explore and investigate points of interest. A key element is the use of items to overcome traps. The page uses an example of a locked box and a screwdriver to show how to use the correct items to solve a trap. Additionally, the game uses a trap divergent story (TDS) system, where the way a trap is disarmed affects the subsequent storyline. The page illustrates this with a scenario: finding a suspicious hole in the floor. Options include using a crowbar or a sticky stick to retrieve a paper bag. Depending on the choice, different events and interactions may occur. The page introduces a character named Chisa, who appears after obtaining the paper bag, highlighting the impact of player choices. There is also a reference to a character called Norma, who opens up about her worries within her strict upbringing. Lastly, it advertises a special package for crying, and then it includes a mini-drama CD with a prologue story, 3 premium trading cards, and a booklet with illustrations and design materials. This page offers an in-depth look at Fire Striker, a Sega Saturn original soccer game by Konami. The reviewer highlights the game's action button system, which simplifies complex maneuvers and emphasizes the depth of game modes and strategic settings. The page details how to execute advanced techniques with a single button, with actions dynamically changing based on offensive or defensive situations. Button combinations for shooting, passing, and other skills are explained, along with strategies for evading opponents and teamwork. Illustrated examples demonstrate techniques like feint dribbles, loop shots, diving headers, and more. There is also an overview of the game modes, including J.League, All-Star, and Tournament modes, as well as the in-depth training and customization options. The training mode covers dribbling, passing, shooting, corner kicks, free kicks, and defense, each with increasing difficulty levels. The customization mode allows players to create original teams, edit player appearances and attributes, and participate in the J.League. After matches, players can review detailed statistics like shot counts and individual player data. The next page presents an introduction to the Tamagotchi Park game for the Sega Saturn. It highlights the fun of raising Tamagotchis, not just focusing on the raising aspect, but also introducing various entertaining elements within the game. The page introduces 3 minigames to enhance the Tamagotchi's abilities. By achieving high scores in these games, you can improve your Tamagotchi's parameters. The games include Gumball Up Game, a shooting-style game, Cruising Star where you dodge asteroids, a quiz game, and also a training contest where you try to complete minigames and challenges, and also a competition where you race. It also explains that even if your Tamagotchi dies, it might be reborn as an Angel Gotchi, also known as Tenshichi, and how the appearance and care methods are similar to the original Tamagotchi. Furthermore, it shows that you can confirm the state of the Tamagotchi's life at its grave, which is located in Tamagotchi Park, and also how these graves can be upgraded. The page also shows the evolution chart, starting from the egg to the various stages, including becoming an Obakechi, and how that can evolve to become a Devilgotchi, and that it may be targeted by Gaikachi and Komori if neglected. This page is an introduction to Wizardry Nemesis, a new installment in the Wizardry series of RPGs, which incorporates adventure elements and was originally released on PC in 1996. The game features a protagonist with amnesia, tasked with solving mysteries. Unique systems include markers on maps for important locations and item synthesis. Movie scenes are emphasized during key events, character interactions, and game over situations. The game features exploration, conversation, and combat, and takes place across 28 maps, including locations like Tarlean Forest and Hargani World. Combat is now a one-on-one real-time battle, with attacks, defenses, and magic, which is based on earth, water, fire, and wind elements. A logbook is implemented to help solve puzzles. The next page presents two games, Farland Saga and Prisoner of Ice. Farland Saga is a simulation RPG where battles and events unfold in a quarter-view perspective. It's described as the latest in the Farland series, with fully voiced event scenes. The story revolves around a young man named Leon and his companions. The game includes strategic elements, character development through battles, and features fully voiced cutscenes. The game also highlights the ability to purchase weapons and armor in shops to strengthen the party. The main characters featured are Leon, Ralph, Brian, Pham, Marcia, and Corinne. Prisoner of Ice is a horror adventure game set during World War II, involving a mysterious life form. The player, as an American naval officer, aims to stop the Nazis from weaponizing it. The game boasts cinematic presentation, emphasizing puzzle solving and critical decision-making under time pressure in escaping from a Nazi prison. Finding and using items is essential for progressing through the game. The page mentions several key elements, including the importance of inventory management and the consequences of failure. This page is about Kindaichi Shonen no Jikenbo, Hoshimijima Kanashimi no Fukushuki. Note: a Sega Saturn adventure game based on the popular manga Case Files of Young Kindaichi. It's a unique adventure where the player must commit the perfect crime against the famous detective Kindaichi. The game takes place on Hoshimijima Island, featuring two main characters driven by revenge and a heated battle with Kindaichi. The story involves two individuals who seek revenge for a past incident. They gather on Hoshimijima Island to enact their plans, with Kindaichi in pursuit. To succeed, the player must plan carefully, gathering information, identifying the culprit, and preparing for the crime. The game features characters such as Kindaichi, Miyuki Nanase, Isamu Kenmochi, and others, with the player taking on the role of the antagonist. The article emphasizes the need for meticulous planning and careful execution to outsmart Kindaichi and achieve a perfect crime. The page details collecting information, selecting a scenario, choosing the best method of execution, and avoiding mistakes that could lead to capture. The next page dives into After School Love Club, a simulation game where players navigate romance within a club setting. The game is set in a family restaurant called Starry Sky, which is used as the club room. You interact with girls and go on dates. The game features 12 girls you can choose to pursue. After selecting a girl, you engage in two-shot conversations, selecting topics, and influencing the conversation. Successfully building relationships leads to dates, with the goal of nurturing a love relationship. The page showcases some of the female characters, describing their personalities and tastes, like Nanae Horikawa, who is energetic, Hayami Oribara, who is emotionally intelligent, and Mutsami Horikawa, who is a literary girl. The page shows in-game screenshots of possible conversation topics and dating scenarios within the game. This page is about Wizards Harmony 2, a fantasy-themed simulation game where players manage a school for adventurers. The story revolves around rebuilding the Wizards Academy after a mishap leaves it with only one member, the player character Tresian. The goal is to recruit new members, train them, and meet the standards set by the Student Council to prevent the Academy's closure. The gameplay involves scheduling activities for the students, balancing training in fire, water, wind, and earth magic, as well as general knowledge, physical fitness, and rest. The game features a relationship system, where characters have different opinions of each other, affecting training efficiency. Players can also take students out on weekends to improve their relationships through dialogue choices. The game includes magical skill exams that the students must pass to maintain the academy status. The page also mentions special events that occur during the summer and winter seasons, as well as different endings depending on the player's relationships with the other characters. The page features screenshots of the game's interface, character portraits, and event scenes. The student council members who can be recruited are Elwin, Mania, Asisto, Keys, Tiana, and others. The page also details a contest for fans to win signed artwork from the game's voice actors. The next page is for Jungle Park, described as an unnecessary rules adventure game for the Sega Saturn. The goal is to control Saru and freely roam Saturn Island, exploring locations divided into 4 seasons. The island is filled with mini-games and secrets. Players can ride balloons to fast travel. The game includes various mini-games set in different seasonal areas. In the summer, there's Pet Sand Coast featuring beach activities. Autumn has Autumn Forest, with mini-games like hot rod racing and roll ball bowling. Winter includes White Mountain with skiing and chess battles. Spring features Jungle Hal, with a train that can be painted. Each season has unique locations, like a camp with hammocks and a Yukon area for glider acrobatics. This page features 2 games. On the left is Reflex Sparker, an action game where players control characters called Sparkers to defeat monsters by reflecting discs using reflex boards. The game includes a single-player mode, a 4-player versus mode, and a beginner mode that teaches players the game's rules. Power-ups include speed boosts, disc upgrades, shields, and remote controls for the reflex boards. The right side of the page is for Sanyo Fever Jitsuki Simulation Volume 2, a pachinko simulator where players aim to clear goals with girls in story mode. The game features 3 pachinko machines, including Fever Pistol Dimes, and allows players to adjust settings and view various demonstrations. The next page is an advertisement for Game no Ayumakana Books Strategy Guides. It highlights several guides for PlayStation and Sega Saturn games. Featured are guides for Arnhem, The Battle for the Bridge, a strategy guide focusing on the game's secrets, maps, and data, which is scheduled for release on January 9th. There are also guides for Team Management Simulation 2, Super Robot Wars F, Princess Crown, Gallop Racer 2, and Crime Crackers 2, with details on maps, data, and unit guides. The advert offers complete parameter guides for all machines and drivers, with manufacturer collaboration on settings and circuit data. The books are available for 690 yen each. It mentions a time attack contest, with a total prize of 2 million yen. This page is an advertisement for 2 magazines. On the left, we have Nadeshiko Volume 2, described as a hypervisual magazine focusing on the appeal of game characters, with a special Saturn Fan and PlayStation edition. It features games like Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, Sentimental Graffiti, Dukoku Soshite, Super Pachinko Adventure, No L, Melt Lancer, and Debut 21. Nadeshiko Volume 2 is priced at 690 yen. On the right is Game Boy Magazine, which is advertising a special issue featuring Pokemon and Dragon Quest. It includes information on Pokemon Gold and Silver, as well as Nintendo Space World 97 report. The magazine features a special feature on Pocket Monsters and is priced at 390 yen. The next page is a review section titled Saturn Soft Impression, focusing on upcoming Sega Saturn games. It begins with an introduction to the reviewers, highlighting their gaming preferences and backgrounds. The games reviewed on this page are Kindaichi Case Files, Star Viewing Island, The Revenge of Sorrow, an adventure game where the player takes on the role of the criminal. Reviewers praise the fresh perspective and engaging storytelling, but point out some illogical plot developments, and suggest that the game can be enjoyed whether or not one has played the original story. Farland Saga, a traditional turn-based simulation RPG. Reviewers note the slow processing speed and familiar gameplay, recommending it for newcomers to the genre. Jungle Park, Saturn Island, a casual adventure game where players explore an island. Reviewers appreciate the easy controls and relaxing atmosphere, comparing it to a leisurely trip. They note the lack of complex gameplay but praise the game's charm and humor. After School Love Club, Love Etude, a simulation game where players engage in club activities and romance. Reviewers find the game easy to get into but somewhat shallow, recommending it for those seeking a light-hearted experience. The page also lists upcoming release dates and prices for the games, and includes individual reviewer scores and comments. The reviewers this month are Masaki Kato, Yeko Murata, Katsuki Ikugata, Toshiyuki Nishimura, Yasuhiro Yamaguchi, Mikio Katai, Yusuke Hiraoka, Ryo Matsumoto, Kaiko Okumura, Kazuhiko Tani, Tatsuya Yasuda, and Tadashi Tamura. This page features a review section titled Saturn Soft Impression, reviewing several Sega Saturn games. First up is Sankyo Fever, Real Machine Simulation S Volume 2, a pachinko simulator praised for recreating the real machine experience, with bonus features such as reaching action and big win demos. However, reviewers felt the story mode was lacking, and the number of available machines was limited. Next is The Star Bowling Volume 2, featuring popular voice actors in a bowling game. It's considered a simple update with new voice talent, but retains the same gameplay as the original. Graduation Album is a memorial soft for the Graduation series, featuring character art, voice actor interviews, and more. It is considered a nostalgic item for fans of the series. The reviews also discuss the current state of Saturn software, with reviewers noting the abundance of puzzle and card games, the dominance of adventure and gouge games, and the decline of mahjong titles due to regulations. The reviewers discuss popular titles in the fighting, simulation RPG, and shooting genres, and the impact of 4 MB RAM cartridges. Games mentioned include X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Soul Hackers, and Uno. The reviewers were Toshiyuki Nishimura, Masaki Kato, Yasuhiro Yamaguchi. The next page features singer and voice actress Mami Kingetsu, known for her work on the Tokimeki Memorial series, celebrating the release of her new album Car Brand. The page includes an interview where she discusses the album's concept and favorite tracks. The album features covers of songs that Kingetsu wanted to sing, infused with her personal style, as she describes. She also mentions her role as Maki in the anime Burn Up Excess. There's an announcement for in-person events taking place across Japan to commemorate the album release. To participate, fans need to pre-order the album at participating stores. Additionally, there is information regarding Tokimeki Memorial Trading Cards, Volume 3, with 219 types of cards to collect, including super special cards, which are now available at Lawson stores. A refill set for the card collection is also available for purchase. The page notes January 21, 1998, as Tokimeki CD Day, where 2 albums are released. One of them is the Dream of You album by Miharu Tatebayashi. The other is the drama CD Nijiro no Seishun Forever, Volume 1. Finally, there is a contest where 5 lucky fans can win a Polaroid photo of Mami Kingetsu with her autograph. This page showcases a range of Sega Saturn character figures. The headline boasts, "Let's enjoy Saturn characters in 3D models," and claims the figures are authentically designed and finished, capturing the character's charm. It notes the Sega figures are high quality yet reasonably priced, making them accessible to newcomers, and mentions figures from Neon Genesis Evangelion are also available. The page highlights figures from Sakura Wars, noting the popularity of Sakura, Kuran, and Iris. It introduces the real model series, including Sakura, Shinguji, Kuran Lee, and Iris Chateaubriand. There's also a selection model series, with unpainted plastic kits of the characters. The Cyber Troopers Virtualon figures are also featured, emphasizing how the figures capture the game's image. The real model series includes Temjin, Viper 2, and Raiden, with 2 color versions available from March. There's also a line of VD model series figures featuring the same characters in a smaller, simpler design. Also, Revolutionary Girl Utena figures are featured. The real model series includes Utena Tenju and Anthy Himemiya, with character voices CD. Finally, the page displays a set of Chiba-style Sakura Wars figures called the Taigeki Petit Flower Troupe, featuring all 6 members of the Flower Division. The next page offers strategies for playing Akoi and Takarashi in Virtua Fighter 3 TB. It states that Akoi, being a technical character, relies on tricking opponents and capitalizing on counterhits. The page suggests using the middle elbow strike and middle heel kick to disrupt opponents, followed by either a throw or another strike to exploit their disorientation, and also utilizing the Unsurpassed Destruction (P) technique. For Takarashi, who focuses on high-risk, high-return tactics, it emphasizes using the hair grasp into neck twist, rightwards hollow arrow P, and palm strike into neck twist, rightwards hollow arrow P plus G, combo, after guarding an opponent's attack. It suggests utilizing the elbow strike, rightwards hollow arrow P, for a guaranteed throw combo when it connects as a counter hit, and taking advantage of the sweep, K, as a replacement for down attacks, as it is very effective at sweeping the ground. The review mentions that while Takarashi has powerful throws and strikes, he lacks a unique identity in VF3 TV. The next page is about Sega's new arcade releases. It introduces Fighting Vipers 2 as a sequel that aims to refine the 3D fighting experience. AIM2 research director Kataoka discusses the game's development, emphasizing the enhanced 3D camera work and character design by EMI-Tunes, focusing on armor design and unique character elements. The page features screenshots of characters Bon and Honey, highlighting the attention to detail in their designs and animations. Kataoka mentions that Fighting Vipers 2 aims to provide a satisfying experience for players of all skill levels, with new characters and branching paths in the battles. Additionally, the page introduces Sega Rally Championship 2, a sequel to the classic racing game. AM2 department head Minakuchi and director Sasaki discuss the game's development goals, focusing on improving graphics and returning to the core fun of racing games. The game aims for realistic weather effects and a festive atmosphere. Screenshots showcase the improved graphics and racing environments. They mention the possibility of additional cars and express hope that the game will be loved by players worldwide. This page is about the new shooting game, Armed Police Batrider, from Aiding/Raising, a company known for their intense shooters like Battle Garega. It emphasizes fast-paced action and high-scoring gameplay, similar to Battle Garega, with familiar power-up and bomb mechanics. The game features a team battle system, where players select a team of 3 characters from 9 available characters and 3 team edit methods, with Team Select and Team Edit options. There's also a random edit mode to choose the characters for you. The team is made up of default characters and guest characters. The game features difficulty levels for beginners to advanced players. There's an auto-bomb feature for novice players that automatically activates when the player is in trouble. The stages have random elements and the boss changes based on certain conditions in the game, and whether Garega or Mahu characters are in your team. The page touches on secrets to discover, and a Kazure bonus for skilled players who can graze enemy bullets, increasing the player's score. The 4th installment of Shoha Kokuyokutai mentions the Battle Garega demo, that has similar gameplay and a need for more variations in horizontal mode, expressing hope for improvements in the final version. This page is a collection of different sections. Firstly, there's a report on a Sega bass fishing media competition. The event was held to commemorate the release of the game, and the Sega Saturn Magazine team won the overall championship. Next, there's a feature on Sparkling the Am No. 3 from Oratorio Tangram, showcasing the game and character art. It mentions characters like Temjin, Raiden, Feyen, and other machines, discussing the quality of the show models. Also, there is a call-out for people to apply for a poster of this. There's also a section introducing new Sega titles, Ski Champ, which features a skiing simulation game utilizing the Model 3 board for realistic graphics and gameplay. Harley-Davidson and LA Riders takes you through the streets of Los Angeles on a Harley, and the game uses the Model 3 board and body sonic effects. The next page is about secret commands and modes in Bubble Symphony. There's a Hyper Uruteku rank evaluating the usefulness and uniqueness of secret techniques. The magazine offers a reward of up to 10,000 yen for readers who share new secrets. Bubble Symphony is heavily featured, with explanations of 5 hidden commands to unlock Super Mode, Full Power Mode, Human Mode, Bubble Bobble Mode, and a bonus guarantee mode. Also discussed is Refrain Love, which can be unlocked by inputting a command in the title screen. You can view individual affection and friendship parameters, unlocking a visual mode after clearing the game and entering a command. X-Men vs. Street Fighter discusses unlocks for after clearing the game. Difficulty settings can be changed freely. After completing the game, a continue is not needed. Turbo speed can be adjusted in 10 levels, and same characters can be on a team. Cotton 2 has additional options unlocked in the options menu, with options such as player change, visual scene skips, customizing XYZ buttons, rapid fire, and changing sound options. J-League Pro Soccer Club lets you move players in the club select screen by using the L or R button while holding X, Y, or Z. Finally, readers are invited to submit their own uruteku, secret techniques, to the magazine, with contact information provided here. There is also a Christmas-themed title screen in Refrain Love. Please provide the text you would like me to summarize. Please provide the text you would like me to summarize. The next page features 3 different games. The first, Kyuku Gensu Kyoku Second Album, a simulation game about fostering friendships. You take on the role of a young person belonging to the Self-Defense Corps. Screenshots show the user interface and character interactions. Next is Coolie Crisis, an action game where you play as a messenger boy on a mountain bike in San Francisco. The goal is to deliver messages quickly to earn rewards, and you can upgrade your bike. Screenshots show gameplay, maps, and the bike upgrade system. The third game is Wangan Trial Love, a racing game where you can tune your car, enjoy dating, and participate in races. You can earn money through part-time jobs to upgrade your car. Screenshots display racing scenes and dating events. There is also some talk about dating events with girls in the game, where your choices affect their behavior, and some girls like pro wrestling, or are idols. This page presents a variety of games and related information, offering a glimpse into the gaming scene of the time. First up is Nobunaga's Ambition, Sengoku Gunyuden, a strategy simulation game where you aim for unification in the Warring States period. The game includes elements like troop management and castle sieges, with the reviewer highlighting the advisor concept and the game's historical depth. Next, Gunblaze S is a role-playing game set in 19th century England, focusing on a protagonist named Mark, fighting against the villainous Rosencreuz. The reviewer notes the importance of guns in the game and the inclusion of unique characters. Coming soon is a section that spotlights a game featuring Private Detective Mark protecting a girl named Jewel from Rosencreuz. Also mentioned is Virtual Mahjong, a mahjong game featuring polygon-based CG idols. The page also features Teitoku no Ketsudan 2i with Power-Up Kit, a World War II simulation game with enhanced features. Finally, Message Navy Volume 2, a Crodrom magazine containing personal information and user-submitted content. Lastly, there are previews and news on games releasing in December, January, February, and March, including several on the Saturn collection, such as Fighting Illusion ESC-1 Grand Prix, Advanced World War, Millennium Empire's Demise, Sakura Wars, Langrisser 2i, and other notable titles like Gun Griffon, The Eurasian Conflict, and Command & Conquer. The next page is a new production sale calendar showcasing upcoming Sega Saturn games. It is divided by release dates, starting with December 97 and extending into 98. Games include Wizard's Harmony 2, and for January 98 we have Jang Rhythms, the Star Bowling Volume 2, and the Club Romance sequel games. February has the Saturn collection including games like Fighting Illusion, ESC-1 Grand Prix. For March 98, there's Wedding Bell, The House of the Dead, Sega Ages, and Dragon Force 2. Games scheduled for April 98 and later include Winning Post 3, Princess Maker, Yumemiru Yusei, and more. There are also games with an unconfirmed release date and summer releases, including the RPG World Soccer, and titles like Vampire Savior and Super Adventure Rockman. This page contains information about upcoming games for the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. It leads with Sentimental Graffiti and the Town strategy game. There are also consultation and inquiry contacts and the table of contents. The Sega Saturn Game Index includes titles like Azazel Panzer Dragoon RPG, Even the Lost One, Wizard's Harmony 2, Winter Heat, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Dragon's Dream, and others. The page also features an advertisement for Tenant Wars, a board game for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn, where 16 players can open up stores and aim to become top tenant owners. The ad mentions it's coming out on February 12th, and the standard price is 5,800 yen. Another ad is for a new brand from kids called Weiwei Kids, and their new board game, with the aim to have a youth experience without using dice or roulette, and have freedom to choose careers and pursue love interests. This board game is scheduled for release in March 1998. The staff credits are listed including the people behind the magazine, from the publishers at Takuma Shuten / Intermedia Company, to editors, assistants, managers, and designers, including the sales and marketing teams. The next page is a spread featuring 2 Sega Saturn games. On the left side is Tamagotchi Park, inviting players to care for the Tamagotchis in a beautiful park through all 4 seasons. The ad highlights the ability to breed new Tamagotchi and potentially discover rare species. It's scheduled for a late January 98 release and is priced at 6,800 yen. On the right side is an advertisement for Mobile Suit Gundam, Guren's Ambition, a strategy simulation game. The copy ominously declares that all the warfare of the one-year war comes together here. The game is scheduled for release in March and is priced at 6,800 yen.